My girlfriend texted, "It was only betrayal if you found out." I replied, "Then I found out." She thought I would beg. I packed her things, changed the locks, and sent her the doorbell footage. By sunrise, her friends were calling me cruel. The police called it harassment. Original post: I'm Connor, 32. My girlfriend, Aubrey, was 28. We had been together almost 3 years and living together for 11 months in Raleigh, North Carolina. I worked as an operations coordinator for a regional delivery company called Piedmont Route Systems. Aubrey worked as a social media manager for a small lifestyle brand downtown. The apartment was mine, my name on the lease, my deposit, my furniture, my bills. Aubrey moved in after her roommate's situation ended badly, and at first, I liked having her there. She made the place feel less like a clean waiting room and more like a home. Then things shifted. Aubrey got secretive with her phone, not normal privacy. This was turning the screen away when I walked in, taking calls on the balcony in February, saying work stuff when I could clearly hear a man laughing through the speaker. The man was Carter. Carter was not a stranger, he was my friend first. We played pickup basketball together every other Saturday. I helped him move apartments the year before. I invited him to my birthday dinner. Aubrey met him through me. For months, she said I was imagining things. Carter was harmless. Carter was going through a rough time. Carter needed someone to talk to. Carter understood marketing better than I did. Carter was not a threat. I asked for one boundary: no late-night private calls with him, not because I owned her, because I wasn't stupid. She said I was insecure. The betrayal happened on a Wednesday. I was at work, sitting in a conference room, reviewing driver schedules for the weekend. My phone buzzed on the table. I glanced down and saw Aubrey's name. The text said, "It was only betrayal if you found out." I read it once, then again. At first my brain tried to protect me. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it was about some reality show. Maybe it was for one of her friends. Then the next message came through. Wrong person. That was all. No explanation. No panic paragraph. Just wrong person. I stared at the phone while my supervisor kept talking about route delays. The room got quiet in that strange way where sound is still happening, but your mind stops receiving it. I typed back, "Then I found out." I put my phone face down and finished the meeting. Not because I was calm inside, I wasn't. I felt like someone had opened a trapdoor under my chest, but I had learned something from watching other people lose control. The first person to get loud usually becomes the story. I was not going to become her story. By the time I got back to my desk, Aubrey had called 6 times. Then Carter called twice. That told me enough. I didn't answer either of them. I left work at 5, drove home, and parked across the street for 10 minutes. Just sat there, hands on the steering wheel, breathing through my nose. When I went inside, Aubrey was already there. She was sitting on the couch, knees pulled up, phone in both hands. She looked scared but not guilty. There's a difference. Guilt looks inward. Fear looks for escape routes. She said, "Connor, before you say anything, that text sounded worse than it was." I said, "What was it about?" She said, "It was complicated." I said, "Was it about Carter?" Silence. There it was. I didn't yell. I didn't ask for details. I didn't ask how many times or where or when. I didn't want the slideshow. The headline was enough. I said, "Pack a bag for tonight." She blinked. "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes." She started crying then, not soft crying, performance crying, the kind that pauses to check if it's working. She said she never meant to hurt me. She said it was emotional before it was physical. She said Carter made her feel seen and my job made me too tired to notice her. I listened. That was the last gift I gave her. Then I said, "You can stay with Carter." Her face changed immediately. She said, "Don't be disgusting." I almost laughed. Apparently sleeping with my friend was complex, but suggesting she stay with him was disgusting. She said she needed time. I said she had until 9 p.m. to take what she needed for the week. She said, "You can't just throw me out." I said, "You are not on the lease. You pay no rent. I am not touching you, threatening you, or keeping your property. I'm asking you to leave tonight because I won't sleep next to someone who betrayed me with my friend." She called me cold. Maybe I was. At 8:43 p.m., She left with 2 suitcases, 3 tote bags, and the little white makeup case she loved more than some relatives. Carter did not pick her up. Her friend Marissa did. After she left, I called the property manager. The lock change was $142. They scheduled it for the next morning. Then I took pictures of everything she left behind: clothes, shoes, books, hair tools, candles, every drawer, every shelf. Every box, no drama, just evidence. At 1:16 p.m., Carter texted me. "Man, I'm sorry, it wasn't planned," I replied. "Nothing else from you." Then I blocked him. Update 1: 4 days later, by Saturday, Aubrey's version of events had entered the public market. Marissa texted first. "Connor, I know you're hurt, but making her leave with nowhere to go is cruel." I sent one screenshot, the betrayal text, my reply. Then I wrote, "She left with bags. Her belongings are documented and safe. She can arrange pickup with notice." Marissa didn't apologize. She just wrote, "Still, you could have handled it better." I didn't respond. Then Aubrey's sister, Kelsey, called from a number I didn't know. I answered because I thought it might be work. Kelsey started with, "So you're really going to punish her for one mistake?" I said, "Kelsey, your sister accidentally texted me that it was only betrayal if I found out." Kelsey went quiet. Then she said, "She told me you read her private messages." I said, "She sent it to me." Another pause. Then very softly Kelsey said, "Oh." That was the first crack in the campaign. Saturday afternoon, Aubrey came to the apartment while I was at the grocery store. The new lock was already installed. My doorbell camera caught her trying the old key twice. Then she looked directly into the camera and said, "Connor, I know you're watching. This is childish." I saved the video. Then I texted her one time. "Your remaining belongings will be available for scheduled pickup on Tuesday between 6 and 8 p.m. My brother will be present. Do not come before then." She replied with 12 messages. "You're controlling. You're punishing me. You're acting like I murdered someone. Carter means nothing. You're throwing away 3 years. You're going to regret this when you calm down." I read them once and put the phone away. That night my mom called. Instead of the usual mother concern, she said, "Aubrey called me." I closed my eyes. Mom said she cried for 15 minutes and then told me you were emotionally unsafe. I asked, "What did you say?" Mom said, "I asked if she slept with Carter." I waited. Mom continued. She said it wasn't that simple, so I told her it sounded simple enough for me. I laughed for the first time that week. Tuesday pickup was exactly as awkward as expected. My brother Caleb stood in the hallway with his arms crossed. I kept the door open but stayed inside. Aubrey arrived with Marissa and a rented U-Haul cargo van that cost $49. I had everything boxed by category: clothes, bathroom, office, kitchen, miscellaneous. I even labeled the phone chargers because I refused to give her any excuse to come back. She looked at the boxes and said, "You packed fast." I said, "I had motivation." Marissa glared at me. Caleb glared back. It was a very balanced hallway. Aubrey tried to step inside. I said, "No." She said, "I just want to see if you missed anything." I said, "Tell me what you're looking for." She said, "My silver necklace." I pointed to a small zip bag taped to the top of the jewelry box. "There." She looked disappointed that I had found it. When they finished loading, Aubrey stood by the van and said, "I hope one day you realize betrayal isn't always black and white." I said, "This one was." Then I went upstairs. Update 2: 3 weeks later I thought the worst was over. That was optimistic. 3 weeks after the text, Carter showed up at my Saturday basketball game. Not to play, to explain. He said, "Can we talk like men?" I said, "No." He said, "Connor, I lost my friend too." I said, "You didn't lose me, you spent me." That shut him up for maybe 2 seconds. Then he started with the same script. It just happened. They were confused. Aubrey felt neglected. He hoped someday we could all heal. I said, "Leave before I ask the gym staff to remove you." He said, "You're making this ugly." There it was again. People do ugly things, then accuse you of making it visible. The gym manager, Shane, came over and told Carter he needed to leave. I filed an incident note because by then I was done trusting memory. The next day, Aubrey posted a long story online. Betrayal is not always cheating. Sometimes betrayal is abandoning someone when they need grace. That one made me stare at the screen. She had upgraded the word betrayal and assigned it to me. By Monday morning, people at work had heard pieces of it. Aubrey knew one of our dispatch assistants, Tori, and I noticed the whisper pause when I walked into the break room. So I went to my supervisor, Denise, before the gossip could grow roots. I told her the basics. Partner cheated with my friend. Partner is now contacting people around me. I have screenshots, pickup documentation, doorbell video, and a gym incident note. Denise listened without interrupting. Then she said, "Send HR anything that involves work and don't engage during business hours. Professional, clean, useful." 2 days later, Aubrey emailed our HR inbox. She claimed I was unstable and retaliatory. She attached no evidence because there was none. HR called me in. I brought screenshots, doorbell stills, the pickup email, the police report, and the gym incident note. HR reviewed everything and said, "We're documenting this as a personal matter with potential harassment toward an employee." That sentence was beautiful, not romantic beautiful, administrative beautiful. A week later, I got the fake crisis. Unknown number. Text at 1:37 a.m. Aubrey took something. She said goodbye. If you care at all, call her. My stomach dropped. I'm not heartless. I called Kelsey. Kelsey answered on the third ring, confused and tired. I said, "Is Aubrey okay?" Kelsey said, "She's asleep on my couch." I explained the text. Kelsey went silent, then said, "Marissa has been using a second number. I'll handle it." I said, "Please tell them both that the next fake emergency becomes a police report." Kelsey said, "I'm sorry, Connor." I didn't know half of this. That was the unexpected part. Her own sister started sounding embarrassed. The next morning, I filed another report anyway, screenshots, time stamps. The unknown number, Kelsey's confirmation by text that Aubrey was safe. Then I paid $375 for a lawyer to send a cease and desist letter. Best $375 I spent all year. Around the same time, I started having coffee with Natalie, a claims analyst from a vendor office. I told her up front my life had recently been a dumpster fire with paperwork. She said, "I appreciate the warning. No games, no tests, no calling betrayal complicated, just coffee." Final update, 2 months later the cease and desist slowed Aubrey down, but it did not stop her completely. She stopped texting from her phone and started sending messages through other people. Marissa, Tori, one of Carter's cousins, even a fake Instagram account with a golden retriever profile picture. The golden retriever account wrote, "Real love forgives." I blocked the dog. Then Aubrey showed up at my apartment building again. This time she didn't knock. She sat in her car across the lot for 40 minutes. My neighbor Russell noticed first. Russell is retired, owns binoculars, and has no shame. He called me and said, "Your ex is out there in a blue Honda." I checked from the stairwell window. There she was. I called non-emergency. Officers came. She told them she was waiting for a friend. The officers asked the friend's name. She said she didn't have to answer. They told her to leave. That was enough for me. I filed for a protective order the next morning. The hearing was 3 weeks later at the Wake County Courthouse. She brought Marissa. I brought Caleb. The judge asked why I wanted the order. I kept it boring. Dates, messages, footage, work email, gym incident, fake emergency, parking lot. Aubrey said I was punishing her for a private relationship issue. She said I had humiliated her by telling people she cheated. She said I had turned everyone against her. The judge asked, "Did you send the message saying, quote, 'It was only betrayal if you found out'?" Aubrey said, "It was taken out of context." The judge asked, "What context makes that sentence better?" Aubrey didn't answer. Marissa tried to speak from the back. The judge told her to stop. Then the judge read the fake emergency text out loud. Aubrey said she didn't send it. I showed the number connection through Kelsey's text. Not perfect proof, but enough pattern. The protective order was granted for 1 year. No contact directly or indirectly. No workplace contact. No apartment contact. No third-party messages. No social media accounts. 300 feet. Outside the courtroom, Aubrey looked at me like I had betrayed her. That was the strangest part. I think she really believed it. Carter lost the basketball group, not because I demanded it. Because people found out. Shane told him he wasn't welcome back after the gym incident. Aubrey moved in with Kelsey for a while. Kelsey texted me once after the hearing. "I'm sorry for how this all happened. I hope you heal." I replied, "Thank you." I hope she does too. And I meant it, from a distance. A legally enforced distance. Work got better. Denise put me in charge of a route efficiency project. It came with a $6,000 raise and a better schedule. I started sleeping again. Natalie and I are taking things slowly. She knows the whole story. She just says, "That must have been awful," and then shows up when she says she will. That should not feel rare, but after Aubrey it does. Here's what betrayal taught me. The cheating hurt. Of course it did. But the bigger wound was the rewriting. Watching someone betray you, then try to edit the story until your pain becomes their oppression. Watching them call your boundaries cruelty because they expected your love to survive anything they did. Aubrey didn't just want forgiveness. She wanted control of the narrative. She wanted to choose the action, the consequence, the audience, and the ending. I only took one thing back: myself. If you've ever faced something similar, or if you think I handled the betrayal right or went too far, comment your opinion below. Please subscribe for more stories, like this video if it kept you watching, and share it with someone who needs to hear this.